Okay, let's unpack this. We've all heard of the big three-digit code in cannabis culture, right? But there's this other number, kind of a secret handshake that somehow turned into a global holiday for, well, a really specific group.
Yeah, we're diving into 710 today.
Exactly, 710.
And what's so fascinating, I think, is how this one date, July 10th, was basically engineered, culturally engineered anyway, to become the day for concentrate users. It wasn't random at all.
No, not at all. And the genius of it is just so simple, almost beautiful. You just flip the number 710 upside down, and what do you get?
OAL.
OLL, bam. That little visual trick, that was the aha moment. So our mission today is basically to trace that journey. How did this flip number go from like an insider secret to this official holiday?
And crucially, how did the technology, the actual hardware innovations, make that cultural shift even possible? We're talking about what some call the titanium age of concentrates.
Right. Because before all this, before, say, 2010, the world of concentrates sounds pretty dicey.
Oh, absolutely. The sources we looked at all use pretty much the same word, chaos. You had really dangerous makeshift ways of doing things. Think open blast oil made with zero safety precautions.
Yikes.
Yeah. And the classic hot knives method, which is just crude. Plus torch wigs using these really basic, sometimes homemade titanium skillets.
It really does sound like the Wild West. Like, if you wanted concentrates back then, you were signing up for something risky and probably not very efficient. The gear was unstable, materials may be questionable.
Definitely not a refined process. So the whole scene was basically screaming for some kind of standardization, for safety, for consistency, for precision.
And that need, that gap, leads us right to the main player here.
TaskRok. Yeah, an engineer, but also, interestingly, a rapper. He saw the danger, he saw the need for, like, actual industrial-grade stuff, and he decided to start a company.
And the timing wasn't accidental, was it? He founded his company, Highly Educated, specifically on July 10th, 2010, 710-2010.
Right. He baked the date right into the company's DNA from the start. That specific date really was the pivot point.
So what was the first big move, the first innovation he brought?
It was tackling that safety issue head on. His first big contribution was introducing commercial-grade titanium nails. Grade 2 titanium, specifically. These were machine-cut and, crucially, heat-safe.
Okay, hold on. Grade 2 titanium. Why was that the magic material? What were they using before that made this such a big deal?
Well, before TaskRok, you might see bits of titanium, but it was often really basic, not standardized, maybe not even the right alloy for repeated heating. Grade 2 offered the thermal stability and durability needed.
So it wouldn't degrade or off-gas weird stuff when you hit it with a torch over and over?
Exactly. It needed to be machine-cut for precision fit, and it needed to be certified safe. TaskRok brought that material science perspective. He basically said, okay, we need engineering here, not just guesswork.
So he took this messy, kind of dangerous process and applied real engineering principles. The sources say this one move basically turned makeshift glassware into engineered art.
It's a good way to put it. It shifted the whole perception of dabbing away from being this chaotic, risky thing towards something more, I guess, refined, focused on precision, safety, design even.
He built the foundation first, standardized the hardware, gave people a safe baseline before the culture could really build the ritual around it.
Yeah, once that baseline safety was there, thanks to the titanium, the focus could shift. Okay, how do we make this work better? How do we improve the experience?
So what was the next bottleneck? If the nail itself was now safe and standardized, what was the next thing users were bumping up against?
It led them right to the glass components, specifically the dome. Around 2011, maybe into 2012, the next big step was the domeless nail.
Ah, the dome, that little glass piece that were over the nail to catch the vapor.
Exactly. And the problem was they were fragile, they were kind of clumsy to use, and under that constant heat from the torch, they just cracked. All the time.
So getting rid of the dome,
Yeah.
what did that actually do for the user experience?
It was mainly about airflow and heat management. Highly Educated's domeless designs, like their popular Infinity model, allowed for way better airflow, much less restrictive.
Cleaner hits faster.
Cleaner heads, faster hits, yeah.
Yeah.
And less thermal mass to heat up. Plus, you just removed a major point of failure. If your gear keeps breaking, it's annoying, right?
Totally. It makes it feel less like a reliable routine and more like a hassle.
Precisely. Removing that fragile glass dome was a huge step in making consumption feel dependable, moving it, like the sources say, from a novelty towards a ritual.
Okay, that makes sense. Reliability builds habits. And that reliability, that improved experience, it sort of set the stage for the next key piece, didn't it? The one that really impacts flavor.
The carb cap.
Yeah.
Yes. And the carb cap is such a great example of engineering basically catching up to user intuition.
What do you mean?
Well, early users, they kind of figured out instinctively that to get a better hit, especially with less heat, they needed to trap the vapor somehow, increase the pressure, concentrate the heat.
So they'd try to cover the dome or the nail with something?
Yeah, people would literally try to use their finger to kind of carb the nail, which obviously is not a great idea with a hot piece of metal.
Yeah, sounds painful. So TaskRok saw people doing this dangerous workaround.
And he recognized the underlying principle. They wanted to trap heat and vapor for a better, lower temp hit. So he designed a specific tool for that exact purpose, an ergonomic, safe carb cap.
And that little piece of titanium or later quartz, it just completely changed things, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It redefined flavor in concentrates. The cap creates this little oven effect, right? And it lets you vaporize the oil effectively at much, much lower temperatures.
Which is everything for terpenes. The flavor compounds, hit it too hot, you just burn them off.
Exactly. The carb cap allowed for and really drove the whole low-temp wave. It preserved those delicate flavor molecules. Suddenly, it wasn't just about getting the effect. It was about tasting the concentrate.
It really shifted things towards connoisseurship, appreciating the nuances. That simple tool basically unlocked a whole new dimension of the experience.
Totally. Born from user instinct, standardized by engineering, it just changed the whole definition of a quality dab.
Okay, so we've gone from risky skillets to safe titanium nails,
Yep.
then ditched the fragile dome for domeless designs, and now we have the carb cap dialing in low-temp flavor. What's the next logical step?
Bridging the physical hardware with tech. Taking the guesswork out completely.
Ah, the e-nail.
The e-nail. This is where that precision temp subculture really takes hold. February 2013, AG convention in Las Vegas, Highly Educated, unveils the first commercial e-nail.
And the core idea is removing the torch, right? Taking away the biggest variable.
Exactly. No more open flame, no more trying to time the heat up and cool down. The e-nail basically fused their reliable titanium hardware with a PID controller that's a precise electronic temperature control unit.
So you could just dial in, say, 550 degrees Fahrenheit, and trust it to stay there.
Perfectly. Consistently. Every single time.
Hmm.
Before this, you were kind of guessing, right? Watching the glow, counting seconds.
Yeah, definitely an art, not a science.
The e-nail made it a science.
But wait, I mean, the torch. That's kind of part of the ritual for a lot of people, isn't it? Was there resistance? Did people see the e-nail as, like, cheating or taking the soul out of it?
Or for sure. There's always some pushback when you automate something that felt like a craft. Some purists definitely preferred the torch.
Yeah.
But the sheer reliability and safety of the e-nail were hard to argue with.
No risk of combustion, perfect temp every time.
Especially if you were chasing those low-temp flavors that the carb cap made possible, the e-nail was the only way to guarantee that perfect terpene preservation hit after hit. So yeah, it wasn't just about convenience. It was about achieving the ultimate quality consistently. It really cemented that bridge between the old-school torch method and modern tech.
So TaskRok wasn't just selling gear. He was kind of selling an entire system, an ideology almost. He built the tools, but then he also helped build the community's identity around it, the language, the holiday.
Yeah, the cultural side is just as important as the hardware innovation. You can't separate them. And he leaned into that deliberately. Remember, he's also a rapper.
Right. So how did that play into it?
Well, a year after founding the company, on 7/1/11, notice the date again, TaskRok released a hip-hop project called The Movement, and the key track on there.
Let me guess. 7.9.
Bingo. 7.9.
That's brilliant, actually. Using music as a distribution channel for the culture around his hardware. What did the song do?
It gave the community its anthem, basically. It had lyrics explicitly about boiling that oil, referencing the 710 idea. It helped solidify that 710 wasn't just, a number, it was becoming an identity. It gave people the words, the slang, the soundtrack for this thing they were doing.
And this is happening in the early 2010s, so the internet is primed for this kind of niche community building.
Exactly. The message spread through those classic early digital channels. Think private tiny chat rooms, specialized forums dedicated to concentrates, early YouTube clips.
People showing off their new highly educated nails and domeless setups.
Yeah. Showing the tech, using the language, spreading the 710 gospel, basically, is this really cool mix of product satisfaction driving organic, viral cultural momentum.
And it happened fast. This wasn't some slow burn over decades. By 2013, just 3 years after the company started, this niche thing was getting noticed by the mainstream.
Yeah, the validation started coming from outside. LA Weekly ran a piece, pretty big deal at the time, that flat out declared 710 as the new 420.
Wow, that's a statement.
Huge statement. It put the date and the whole concentrate scene on the map for a much wider audience. Gave it legitimacy.
And then came the sort of official coronation.
The first official 710 Cup, held in Denver that same year, 2013, that really cemented July 10th in the calendar. It became the official holy day, as the sources put it, for celebrating oil, shatter, wax. The whole world of concentrates finally had its day.
Built entirely on a number flipped upside down. Amazing.
And the hardware that made the culture possible.
So if we just kind of pull back and look at the whole picture, the legacy of TaskRok and Highly Educated seems pretty clear. I mean, the gear people use today, even the advanced quartz stuff, the hybrid nails, it all traces back to that initial spark, right? That focus on safety and standardization back in 2010.
It really is this fascinating revolution in reverse. He didn't wait for the culture to demand standards. He kind of imposed the standards first by building better, safer hardware. He provided the tools, then the language, then the holiday, all spinning out from that flip number and that first titanium nail.
What really strikes me is just the speed of it all, going from hot knives and dangerous guesswork to precision e-nails and carb caps in, what, 3 years, 2010 to 2013. That's an incredibly fast evolution.
It really is. And driven largely by this one company, this one vision, focusing laser-like on safety, efficiency, and quality for a niche group that wasn't being served.
Which brings us to a final thought, something for you, the listener, to maybe chew on after this. What does the incredible success story of 710, both commercially and culturally, tell us about the power of really focusing on user needs, specifically standardization for a specialized group?
Yeah, how powerful can it be in actually creating a whole new market identity from scratch? It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other emerging scenes, what other subcultures out there right now are just waiting for their TaskRok, waiting for someone to come along and provide not just the tools, but the safety, the language, the identity, the defining ritual, something to think about.